to get over, you're gonna go under. What that fool say? I said you try to get over, you gonna go under. Literally, it's 30-30, man. I ain't got time to be wasting time on slow posts. I want y'all to get open like the ocean. Brothers be bugging.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm Will. He's Shaw.
Yo.
Got Brian.
Yeet.
What's the deal, everybody?
How you living, bro?
What's good? Happy holidays.
It's the post-Thanksgiving show.
Post-Thanksgiving show.
How was your guys' holidays?
Mine was pretty good.
Holiday.
I fried a turkey.
Oh,
You
that's
fried
cool.
it? Deep fried?
I deep fried it.
Nice. I've never had that, I don't think.
No? It's really good.
Yeah.
And apparently it's actually it's like not any unhealthier than an oven-baked turkey because you would think fried turkey would be, way less healthy.
Yeah.
But, you flash fry something, you deep fry something, that's unhealthy. But what you do with the turkey is you're cooking the whole bird in the fryer. So you're submerging it in the fryer, and it's basically cooking it
It's
like
a big fryer. You have to buy a special fryer for that?
Yeah, you buy a turkey fryer. You can make your own, like, kind of with, like, Home Depot materials, and that's the people that burn their house down, usually. That you see in the YouTube videos.
I've seen them, bro, blowing up and stuff, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't do that shit. What I do is I buy the electric fryer. It sits on my countertop and just made for turkeys. You literally you season the turkey, you inject it with some marinade, you plop in the bird, and it's 3 minutes a pound. So for a 14-pound turkey, it was done in like 45 minutes. And it comes out perfect.
That's dope.
Every time. And it basically, like I'm saying, it's not any unhealthier. It cooks it like an oven. Yeah. So the whole bird is basically cooking in the oil.
What kind of oil?
Peanut oil. Peanut.
Poinut. What did you say that again, Brian?
Peanut.
What'd I say? Penis oil?
Poinut oil? What did you say?
I made some fire-ass mac and cheese for my family. I brought over homemade mac and cheese. Everybody loved it.
Oh, that's cool. My girl made some fire-ass mac and cheese for the family, too.
Straight off of Google, baby.
I had like a Friendsgiving and a Thanksgiving, so I had like two separate.
Thanks for the invite.
I mean, whatever.
I guess we're not your friend, bro.
Guess we're not your friend. We're just fucking podcasting partners.
Yeah,
whatever. You guys do stuff all the time without me.
That's true.
Like
work.
Yeah. And then like go to all your cool things on your Instagrams and stuff, and you guys, events and your life stuff. I never get invites. I'm just sitting around watching.
It's okay, bro. Put a little Neosporin on your wrist wounds. You'll be fine.
This is not the therapy hour.
It makes me sad.
Oh shit!
I'm just kidding, guys.
Either way,
sports is. I don't need you guys. I have fun my own life.
That's right.
I don't need you guys to have fun with me either. I have fun by myself. That's why I don't invite you guys because you guys are boring.
This is our Friendsgiving right here.
That's it.
Giving each other shit.
All right, before this gets too emotional, let's roll into what happened in this week in sports. So, a great weekend for Miami sports. The Dolphins take care of business against the Eagles unexpectedly. Really took it to that team.
I mean, I'm happy that they did it. I just don't at this point in the season.
37-31 was the final score.
Couldn't you just lose 31-37?
Like give them the effort, but then take the L.
What do you need this extra wins for at this time? I mean, whatever, bro. We're probably gonna get the quarterback we want anyways because it doesn't look like Tua's gonna go number one and all that good stuff. But
you were just saying before the show that you wouldn't take Tua in the top 5, or
I meant to say Burrow and stuff. Yeah, Burrow. Tua. To me, at this point right now, I don't see Tua. Sorry, guys.
Tua much potential.
I think he's gonna be a little bit of an injury risk. That's just what my gut says. I really hope I'm wrong, because he's Tua Tagovailoa, whatever the hell his name is. But I mean, he's. I want him. I want to believe in the hype. But I'm not really buying into all this injury crap, man. I have a really bad feeling about it. I mean, he broke his his hip or something like that. That's kind of serious, dude. Like, you don't just come out of that. Like, I don't know. And then he had another pretty bad injury before that this year. It's just not a good look right now before all this draft hype is supposed to fall on him. So I don't know.
So there's basically no point in us.
Right now. So it's okay. So it's okay, I guess, if we're winning these games or whatever. But we don't want to win too many more, because then we're just gonna pull a mediocre Dolphins record like we pull every season, and just get the 13th pick of the draft, which is gonna be bullshit. Like, who the hell wants that?
If the season ended today, the Dolphins would be picking 4th. They're 3-9. In front of them, you got the Cincinnati Bengals, who got their first win of the season against the Jets. Then you also have the New York Giants picking 2 at 2-10. Then you have the Washington Redskins. Washington is tied with us at 3-9. along with Atlanta, who's also 3-9. But for whatever reason, Washington has the tiebreaker for the worser record. So they'd be picking third and picking fourth. Now, the Giants and Washington, last year they spent in the draft a first-round pick on quarterbacks, the Giants with Daniel Jones and Washington with Dwayne Haskins. So you would think that you're safe from those two picking a quarterback, even though you don't know with Dwayne Haskins yet. The jury's still out there. I think the Giants like what they see in Daniel Jones. I think they're going to be happy with him, moving forward as their quarterback. At least for this draft, they're not going to take a quarterback that high.
They have so many other holes to fill. Like, it would be really stupid of them to take another quarterback with a top 3-4 pick. It would be very poorly.
I do think you have to expect Cincinnati to take the top-rated quarterback in the draft at this point. And what you have to, you have to try to do is, if you really want somebody there at the number 1 pick, you're going to have to use that draft ammo to trade up with Cincinnati. So you got to hope that Cincinnati, if you like Burrow, you like Tua, that they're a willing trade partner. If not, you sit back at 4 and you draft what comes to you.
I'll say this. If Tua does end up being not as injury prone, and I am wrong about this, I'm okay with not having to trade up to take Burrow or him. I'm okay with one of the two, Burrow or Tua at that point. And yeah, I definitely see Washington probably taking a quarterback. That's what my gut really, really says, because I don't think Haskins is the answer for them. It was a totally different coaching regime that picked Haskins. And from what I hear, I don't even think it was a real toss-up in between everybody about who wanted Haskins and who did it on their side. So
we'll see. Let's not spend too much time on the draft talk, but it'll be interesting. Currently, the Dolphins are picking 4th if the season ended today. But let's go ahead and let's just jump right into Dolphins talk, just because this was a big win. 37-31 against the Eagles was a very entertaining game. In general, just unexpectedly, we thought this would be a blowout with the Eagles put into the Dolphins, but no, the Dolphins were competitive. Going into the half, they were down 28-14. It looked like the Eagles were really going to, build on that lead and make it a blowout, but the Dolphins came back firing. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the first pass of the game was an interception, and you kind of just, thought, okay, here we go, another Dolphins Sunday. But that really was the only major mistake he made all game, was that first pass for a pick. Since then, he played great, 27-39, 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, that being that first pass. He played fantastic. You couldn't ask any more out of Ryan Fitzpatrick in that game.
Honestly, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been the glue of this team.
Yeah,
as
players
far as
like
players
him.
go all season. So
players like him.
His gameplay doesn't really surprise me too much. I am very, very surprised at the fact, though, that when he was on Tampa Bay last year, he had a lot of very 4 or 5 interception games, had like 3 or 4 games like that. Or was it the year before? I'm not 100%, sure, but I know last time he got an opportunity to start, he was throwing a lot of picks in certain games, and they were going back and forth with him and Jameis. So he hasn't really done that down here. It hasn't really been a question of who we have to put in there at all. And that I give big props to the coaching staff. Coach O'Shea, our offensive coordinator, I give him a lot of props. And I give Ryan Fitzpatrick, I give him a shit ton of props for being that solid team veteran that we've needed in that quarterback room and in this locker room in general, to be honest with you. I personally also think that we should keep him. I think he should stay with us for at least another 2 years, or however he wants to finish his career out. I think he should finish it down here. He'd be a perfect player to groom our future quarterback.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I mean, I think he's signed with us for next year too. I think it's a player option. I do see another team possibly coming in and maybe offering him a little bit more to be a backup, but I think he seems at this point in his career, he seems like the type of guy that's like comfortable here right now.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
he's happy, and hopefully, he'll be, he'll want to stay down here. I mean, we always need a good backup. You always need a guy to come in and run the show. If we get a good star quality quarterback that can play and have him as our backup, bro, that's our best starting and backup quarterback duo in probably like the longest time I can remember.
Yeah, I agree.
Very comfortable.
I would like to see Fitzpatrick come back, and usher in this next young quarterback, and mentor him, and not rush him week 1 into the starting lineup. Plus, from what we've been hearing, the players love Ryan Fitzpatrick. They love having him in the locker room. So you definitely want that presence, especially with the new quarterback coming in. The rushing game for the Finns was just an absolute mess. Even though we won this game, just so you look at the statistics, you had Laird with 10 attempts for 4 yards. And he did have that touchdown. But then everybody else, you had Albert Wilson that had
he had like 43 receiving yards.
Right, yeah. He played a big role in the passing game. I'm talking strictly about the rushing.
Right.
Albert Wilson, 2 attempts, 31 yards. Gaskin, 2 attempts, 20 yards. Fitzpatrick ran 3 times for 2 yards. And then Balaj, 3 attempts for 0 yards. So absolutely non-existent. Just that's one thing we're also going to have to figure out is our rushing attack and how to balance this out a bit, because you can't ask Ryan Fitzpatrick to pass 40 times a game, or any quarterback for that matter.
No, absolutely not. Realistically, I definitely see this problem getting resolved next year with the draft and us definitely having some money to spend. I don't see us having such poor play at the running back position. I just don't see it happening again. But the thing is, we had a little bit of consistency when we started the season. We had Kenyon Drake. We thought Balaj was something. We scooped up Mark Walton.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of hits to this team that, they didn't really replace or do much in terms of like fixing this or picking anybody else up off the street and stuff. They've just been playing with what they have. And I mean, it's really, really, it's a lot to ask of these rookies to do more than what they can do. And, so I just don't see this being an issue next year. I definitely see us. I don't have any idea of who they're looking at or who they could target as far as the running back goes, but I know there's going to be a shit ton of options.
Well, Melvin Gordon might be available.
I don't want to pay him.
Right.
I don't think we need to pay a running back that much like that.
I would agree with that. Maybe just draft a second rounder or something like that.
Or draft a second rounder or a couple of running backs in the draft. You know what I mean? Second or third or in the fourth. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of quality running backs that come out of the third round. It's historically proven. We need to work on our scouting, and I'm really proud. I really have high hopes for this coaching staff and this front office. This coaching staff and I just hope their scouting department and their draft department. I really hope that comes through in this draft, because they're gonna have so much ammunition, man. You can't fuck this up,
right? On the receiving side, Devontae Parker, 10 targets, 7 receptions, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, you look like Randy Moss out there.
Balled out.
You look like Randy Moss.
I don't know about Randy Moss.
He looked like Randy Moss on a couple of those catches. I'm not saying he is him or anything in any of those way, shape, or form, but I said this last week. Who the hell saw this coming? Who could have thought he would have been this good at this point right now after all this time wasted in his career? Who would have thought he would have done it down here? I give a lot of shit ton of props to Coach O'Shea and our coaching staff in general, receivers coach and stuff. For this kid to be doing what he's doing, and our training staff, our health and development staff with the Dolphins, bro, to keep this guy on the field. If he plays the next 4 games, he's playing throughout the rest of the games of the season. This has never happened to him in college, football, NFL, anything. He's never played a whole season, and that's amazing.
I think I saw a statistic Matthew Berry tweeted out that since week 6, Devontae Parker's top 5 in the NFL from a fantasy perspective in just wide receiver points. And, that is incredible. He's been playing consistently. Now, this was against the Philadelphia Eagles defensive backs, which are getting torched week in and week out. I think they are known as the worst, the worst secondary in the NFL. So take it with a grain of salt, but got to like what you see out of Devontae Parker moving forward. You get him and Preston Wilson on the outsides.
Absolutely.
This is a great wide receiver tandem.
100%. 100%.
And this is not the homer in me talking. I really like this duo.
No, and then you got Jakeem Grant signed a little bit long term. He's a good specialist return guy.
And that's going to bring us to our next player that we're going to talk about is Mike Gesicki and how he plays into this passing, offense as well.
Very true. Well, very true.
You were saying earlier, Mike Gesicki, they're lining him up in different ways. They're being creative with him because he basically is a wide receiver on the tight end position. He can't block for shit, but he can play that receiving game very, very well. He's got great hands, and this is now 2 straight games with a touchdown. So gotta like the way he's trending.
No, I think that the prior coaching staff that drafted him just did not know how to use him properly, and it's unfortunate because it's taken him a little bit longer to become effective on the field. I definitely feel he could have done this, a lot sooner, to be honest with you. But it's all good. At least he's doing it now. At least he's proving that we're going to have a solid quality tight end for the future. which is it's really hard to get one these days. And I'm looking forward to seeing his growth. He looks like a solid contributor, you know? I mean, despite what anybody says. I mean, he does need to work on his blocking, but as long as you develop a scheme for that type of player to succeed, he'll succeed. And I think they figured that out. Once again, big shout out to Coach O'Shea and the Dolphins coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball, because the other staff could not figure that out.
Yeah, let's talk about the Dolphins coaching staff. Let's talk about Brian Flores for a second. I mean, how are we feeling about this coaching staff at this point? I know you're optimistic. I think from my perspective, 3-9 at this point with this roster is overachieving. And, you know, I didn't really know what to make of Brian Flores early on because it seemed like he was a bit quiet. Just going about his business, kind of knowing this was a lost season. But lately, you know, he's becoming more and more vocal. And I saw on social media they posted inside of the locker room after the game yesterday, and he was basically saying to his team, he's like, I just want to say it again. I'm very proud to be the head coach of this football team. And I really like that. I really like that because, you know, you're going through a really, really tough season. You're being criticized and mocked by anybody in the NFL. And for your coach to come out and say how proud he is to be the coach of this team, I think sets an example. And he looks like a leader of men. You know,
absolutely.
You couldn't say that really about Philbin. You know, you couldn't say that about Gase. You know, with Brian Flores, he looks like a leader of men. He looks like a guy that these players want to follow. And I think it's been a while since we've had a coach like that.
When you're groomed and brought up in greatness and you're shown the right way, it comes out, you know, if you're the type of person to really, really, really soak what you're around in, you know, and he seems like he's done that 10, like to the max capacity.
Right.
That man worked without even getting paid in the beginning of his career. He was running to get coffee and pick up freaking dry cleaning and shit. That was his job. Like, I have so much respect for this guy. He is the man for this job. He has picked a solid coaching staff, you know, to cater to the type of team that he wants to build. And honestly, him and Chris Greer are really meshing well. And once they both get the green light to spend this money and do what they want with this draft,
Which they will very soon.
right?
You know,
Yeah,
it's going right.
and I can't wait till the summer. I mean, good. The season was fine and it was cute and stuff. I'm very happy with fantasy football too. But like, I just can't wait for this offseason to start for the Dolphins because I really want to see who they pick up. I really want to see the type of players they're going to target with this money, and if we were really different than what we used to be.
Yep.
Because we were full of shit before, just spending money on Sues and all these guys, maxing them out and all this wasting money, Mike Wallace's and all those stupid ass deals that Jeff Ireland did. No, we don't need none of that no more. We need stability down here now. I think these guys are the men for the job, and I think Brian Flores is more than the man for the job for this team.
And speaking of the the coaching staff and the play calling, we got to talk about the trick play. You know, from
God.
the.
Dude, I've never seen anything like that in
between
my
the
life.
two kickers, right? And the audible. That was crazy. So just real quick, we'll play the play-by-play just to get
They
it.
set out the field goal unit. Hawk, the punter, takes the snap. And then the toss to the end zone for the touchdown to the place kicker, Jason Sanders. Come on. Oh, man. So it's the punter / holder to the kicker for a Dolphins touchdown. I have never seen this. Oh, my God. What a very cool play.
I mean, it was the talk of the sports world for
Hell yeah.
for a bit yesterday. Everybody was breaking it down. Here's Scott Hansen on the NFL Network breaking it down.
On the road. All right, all three games are in commercial timeout right now. We're going to flash back a little bit to the Miami and Philadelphia game from earlier today. A little bit of a surprise win to some people that the Dolphins beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and they did it with some creative play calling and what we believe, we are looking through the archives in research right now, we believe it is the first ever punter to kicker touchdown pass in NFL history. And they run the trick play of the year, arguably. They line up, we used to call this the swinging gate with the lineman up on the left side. The holder is the punter who takes the snap and then flips it to the kicker, Jason Sanders. This was a ridiculously creative call. and one that I think will confuse a lot of defenses until it's put down on film. I think some other teams might copy this play, as some people have with Philly special. We can confirm that Jason Sanders, the kicker, catching a touchdown, it's the first time that has happened in the NFL since 1977. You're talking about, 42 years since that has happened.
So again, it was the talk of the town. It really was a creative play, in general, and you got to give them a lot of credit. And like we were just talking about during that highlight, if Brian Flores doesn't call for that defensive pass interference and make that a reviewable play, that play never would have happened. So, that's a drive where that was completely, manufactured and orchestrated by the head coach.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So you got to give him props.
I do, man. Your team is fighting for you. Everybody is just is backing this guy. My seal of approval for him was when Ryan Fitzpatrick in the middle of the season said something about him, and I was like, he's like, that guy is a leader. He is a guy that I will go to bat for anytime. And he just said a bunch of good stuff about him. It was just really, really inspiring to hear all that coming from the starting quarterback. So I'm really looking forward to the growth of this team. I really, really hope we get out of this mediocrity that we've been in for so long, that we've been suffering in for so long.
Yep, definitely trending in the right direction. As we spoke about earlier in the show, Miami currently scheduled to pick 4th in the upcoming NFL draft. Still got to play that game against the Bengals. Still, what do we have? 4 games left, 4 games remaining, right? So, still a lot can happen here. But nice to see some life out of the Dolphins, and nice to see where, some of these players are going to play a role moving forward. Things like Gesicki and guys like Devontae Parker, Ryan Fitzpatrick, like as you said, as a potential mentor for the next quarterback. There's still some solid pieces here.
Yeah, we're seeing who's going to be here for the future.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. We're seeing who's going to be here for the long run, and we've definitely identified some of those guys.
All right, moving on from the Dolphins, talking a little bit of college football. Let's hit on the Canes real quick. Losing to Duke, 27-17. Shah, what's going on with the Canes, bro? Can't lose to Duke.
I don't know what the fuck happened with those wins against FSU and Louisville, but
Duke doesn't play football.
We don't.
Come on, man.
Football, not tennis.
You could point it. You could point at a lot of things, but it really all just falls down to preparation and being ready for your opponent.
This team has just lost all its confidence.
University of Miami right now is just playing with very, very little confidence. I hope this does not translate into losing more recruits, because we signed some bomb-ass recruits this week. This guy, Jalen Harrell, safety, top 24, top 240 safety, ESPN, 4-star rated. Mm-hmm. Jalen Harrell, and we signed another running back named Jalen Knighton. We have another 5-star running back coming in the 2020 season as well. To pair these 2 running backs up is amazing. So I hope that this is just a little bad rough patch for this coaching staff. I think Manny Diaz might need to look at his offensive coordinator and maybe tell him, look, if you can't switch up the schemes that you're running and try to do this air raid offense or something different, you might have to get another offensive coordinator. They're saying the guy that's getting fired from USC, with the head coach getting fired from there recently, or he's going to be getting fired. The offensive coordinator there, him and Manny Diaz are pretty close. They're saying that he would be a perfect fit for our offensive scheme and bring him in and stuff like that, especially with the type of talent that we have and the type of talent that's going to be coming in. So I'm but in general, there's just something wrong right now. I don't know what the hell they're going to do to figure it out. I think the season is just over. Whatever bowl, don't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't fix what these 2 losses have done to this season. The season is over. Miami Hurricane fans, let's pray 2020 brings better days. At least we're not FSU. At least we're not these other, we're not in the worst of worst places. We could be better off, but we have a lot of work to do, and I really hope these motherfuckers figure it out, bro, because this is embarrassing. All that turnover chain, all that stuff better be put in a box, in a safe, and not brought out for some time, because you do not brag that way if you play this way. How the hell? I think it was a play in the game. Somebody got an interception, and those guys were standing on the sidelines putting the turnover chain on. ESPN didn't even show it on film, really. ESPN2. They just showed him all from the back, and then they shifted away from it really quickly. Other games, they're watching them, putting it up, see who's getting it and making a whole big... Bro, it was like... It was cringe. It was almost cringeworthy. So I hope this gets fixed somehow. Because
they need to turn over that chain to the winning team, bro.
Turn over that chain, bro. Turn over that chain to the safe.
They've lost all rights.
Yeah, you don't need it anymore. You're not who you were when you were having the number one defense in the nation. You're not coaching the way that, the way that you said you were going to be coaching in this new state-of-the-art offense and all this bullshit before the season started.
You got to put the U upside down, bro. It's a frown.
I mean, yeah, it's sad times right now. It's sad times right now. I mean, I'm still a fan till the day I die, but hopefully there's better days coming, man. We'll see what happens.
All right, Canes suck. Let's move over to the Heat. Last episode we talked about this upcoming schedule for the Heat, playing. Let's say they played 4 games, and we said that they would go 3-1, and that's exactly what happened. Right? So
let's go Heat.
The Heat started off. The Heat beat the Hornets 117-100. Then they went off to Houston, lost to the Rockets. We expected that to happen 117-108. Then back home against the Warriors on Friday night, 122-105 victory. Then traveled to Brooklyn to play the Nets, scoring the final 10 points of that game to edge out the Nets 109-106. That was a great game. That was very much a back and forth close game. I am a little concerned the fact that it was that close and they don't have Kyrie or Kevin Durant, but Spencer Dinwiddie, he's a legit player.
No, he's getting paid
Dinwiddie.
He is.
Dinwiddie.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
I think I combined Dunleavy and Dinwiddie.
I think you did.
Dunwiddie.
Dunwiddie.
So Spencer Dinwiddie, he's legit.
No, he is. He signed a nice little contract for him.
Yeah, he'll be a good third option next year.
Yeah, no, he's a solid option.
He was leading them last year, right? He was like the main
with
dude
all
last
their
year.
injuries and shit last year. He was doing really well.
Do you know about Spencer Dinwiddie and his crypto idea?
I heard about it.
He's big into cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I heard about it.
And essentially, he got a $34 million deal from the Brooklyn Nets over 3 years. And essentially, what he was trying to do was a first in sports history, was to create this investment vehicle where he would raise that $34 million from the public and get that money up front, and you would get that back in crypto, basically. You would invest in his contract. So it was like a really novel idea. The NBA didn't go for it.
How could you invest in this? But I don't get it. Maybe explain it to me later. That's crazy.
Fuck crypto, right? Cash, baby. Cash only. Give me that dinero.
One thing that I'm a little happy about, I'm going to say ecstatic or anything, but Dion Waiters apologized to the team.
So just to clarify with Dinwiddie,
I'm sorry, I thought we were moving on.
No, we are moving on. But just to clarify also for our listeners, the deal is worth $34 million, but he would be getting less as a total lump sum from the public or whoever invested in the deal. So let's say, for example, he's like, all right, I have a $34 million contract. That's the value after 3 years, but I'm raising 29 or 30 million. And then eventually he'll give the profits of the deal on the back end back to the people that invested in him up front. And he was going to do that through a cryptocurrency, which is really interesting.
Huh. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Mind blown.
A smart guy.
So back to the Heat.
Yeah, Dion Waiters supposedly issued an apology. Well, he publicly apologized to everybody, and then he apologized to the team as well. Eric Spoelstra said that he seemed very remorseful. They interviewed Jimmy Butler, asked him how he felt about Dion coming back and joining the team on the road trip, and his answer was very genuine. He was like, "That's my brother. That's our brother. We need him. I can't wait to have him back. He's a class act individual, you know."
And apparently Spoelstra says he's in decent shape.
Yeah. He said he's in decent shape.
Which was always the problem with Waiters. You know, he would ball.
It wasn't
when he
this
was,
year.
It wasn't. But when he was balling, he was in top-notch athletic shape. That was his first year with the Heat. And I think that was a lot of the problems they had after that was after he signed that contract, he let it go a little bit.
I'm going to say one thing. And
I remember when he came back fat at one point.
Had too many cheeseburgers.
Yeah, that was
going through the Checkers drive-thru here in Miami.
That was when he hurt his ankle. When he hurt his ankle last year. And I remember when they did team photos, they showed a picture of his team photo last year to this year. And bro, it was like night and day.
Yeah.
You could see it in his face. And he even said it. I was depressed. I was unhappy. My life was just in shambles. That injury like drained my happiness.
That's what happened when you eat checkers, bro.
No, but I'm saying like that ankle injury that he suffered,
Yeah.
bro, that kept him out for all that time. Like, bro, that sapped his fucking life. Like he said, he goes, I don't open up about these things. He had a whole thing about it. But I mean, I'm glad that, you know, he fought through that. And I'm glad that the team's embracing him this way. I'm glad even coach even said that, you know, we need every guy we can get. We need shooters. We need players. We need guys that are ready to score. We know what Deion's capable of doing when he's ready to do it. And yes, he is in shape. He's in workable shape to work him back in the next few games, I think. Something like that. That's what Spoke said.
Mm-hmm.
So I welcome him back, man. I really can't wait. I really want to see what he's going to do with this team. I mean, he could be such a benefit for us. And he could really, honestly, if we don't make any more moves the rest of the way and he plays the way he can, coming off the bench with like Dragic or something, bro, that'll be the best.
That'll make us super
Yeah.
deep.
We'll have the best bench in the NBA, hands down, numbers wise. I'm not talking about names on a fucking paper. I'm talking about numbers, facts. What you see on paper.
Facts.
That's what we're going to have. We're going to have the best bench in the NBA if he comes back and does his thing. Because him and Dragic, I don't know if y'all remember, when they started together, they played amazing together. And, you know, if they come off the bench together, leading that second unit off the bench, I mean, sky's the limit for this team if that happens. I mean, I really could see us. I could really see us making, you know, solidifying that third or fourth spot in the Eastern Conference with that move.
How deep of a playoff run you think?
That's tough, man, because the size is what you need in the playoffs. Regular season, you can get by. You know what I'm saying? And you can surprise everybody like the Hawks did that year when they won 60 games. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do that shit. But when what they do when they play Cleveland, they lost 4-0. So like you need size. I don't know, man. I would say second round. I'd be happy with a second round exit.
You'd be happy with the second round exit.
I mean,
You'd be satisfied with
I'd be satisfied with them getting to the second round. And if we lost in the second round, you know, it is what it is. I would love them to make the Eastern Conference Finals.
Sure, yeah, that'd be huge.
That would be my ultimate goal for them this year. But
you need another star.
We need
you need interior defense.
Yeah, or we need a little bit of interior defense.
It's easy to play well in the season because teams have off nights or whatever. You know what I mean? The playoffs, so you're playing the same team.
You have that stretch of those games with 7-10 games where you're playing teams below 500 records. Like that's just kind of almost made for you to like win. You know, it's just, and a team like this is going to capitalize on situations like that.
Yeah.
You know, but we, like I've been saying, we need to prove ourselves to be better against these better teams, and we're not doing it yet. You know, we should have beaten Houston. We caught up. We lost. You know, we caught up, and then that says a lot about our team because Jimmy Butler didn't even play that night. So we need, you know, we're all right now. We need to see what we can do against these better teams, and hopefully Dion Waiters could be that little added piece to get us over that little, you know, give us that extra scoring that we need when Jimmy Butler's not doing it or something like that. Because
I want to talk about this Nets game because, again, this is the most recent one, and I think it showed a lot of grit. You're on the road. You're down. You know, the Heat cut the lead to 103.99 with 1:45 to go. Then Joe Harris, they kick it out to Joe Harris in the corner. He nails a three, pushes the lead to 106.99. Now they're down by 7. And, you know, I think Goran Dragic on the next play, you know, he drives to the basket, gets a 3-point play. And then essentially you grind it out by giving the ball to Jimmy Butler every single possession moving forward, and he just takes it to the rack all 3 possessions and goes to the free throw line for 6 free throws. And that's essentially how they got back into the game. Gritty, you know, not a lot of flash, but just taking it to the hole, not settling for jump shots. That seems like Jimmy Butler, he's setting the mentality for this team is that, you know, they're going to be a grinder and they're going to take it to the rack and they're going to draw fouls. And again, they got lethal shooters on the outside, you know, with Hero and Duncan Robinson and the like, right? So
Duncan Robinson, none.
Yeah.
Kelly's been shooting. Myers Leonard could hit a 3.
Yep.
I mean, you name it. Who on our
everybody can hit a 3 except for Bam, you know, on the court.
Bam could too. He just didn't let him.
Yeah.
Bam did it that first year in summer league when he was playing with our summer league team.
Yeah, Bam could shoot. I remember when we drafted Bam. You're on camera.
I'm sorry. I thought there was something poking out.
Just take a solid booger out your nose?
No, I didn't. I felt like there was one like right here, and I didn't want it to like be poking out, so I didn't want to take care of it. You know.
Right.
So I remember the year that we drafted.
Feel it.
I remember the year that we drafted Bam. I was, you know, just who is this guy?
Right?
You know, this Kentucky center, and I was watching tape, and they showed his combine workout, and the dude they did like an around the world from the 3-point line. I think he was like 85% from 3-point range.
In the summer league, bro, I think
impressive.
I think his first 3 games in summer league, his rookie season, I think he averaged 32 points a game, dude. I think his first game in summer league, he averaged like 7 of like 10 or something from the 3-point line.
Yep.
Like he was just toying with those guys. So,
yep. All right. So the Heat go 3-1 over the last 4 games. Again, they're undefeated at home, so they just keep taking care of business in the AAA.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Fuck
mean,
with us.
I just you're happy, but for some reason you're just not content. Like you feel like
because
something's missing.
we're not playing anybody that really matters.
I think that's what it is.
I mean?
That has to be what it is.
We didn't beat Toronto. We haven't beat Boston. We haven't beat Philly. We haven't beat Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 teams we need to play.
Yeah, we lost to Philly.
Yeah, we lost to Philly. We haven't even played Boston yet, I don't think, right?
And we lost to Houston. We played Houston twice. We got them.
Can't you guys just
We
be
haven't
happy
played.
about the Heat?
I'll be happy when we start whooping the teams.
Can you
that
just
are,
be happy? Can
right.
you feel
top
the
5?
Heat?
Top 5 is solid.
Can you feel the Heat?
Can you
down
feel
there?
Do you
the
think
heat?
they're going to continue this?
Can you feel the heat?
Can you feel the Heat?
Do you think they're going to have a 5? You think they're going to have a top 5 record?
Can you feel it?
Oh, can you feel the heat?
Remember the video for this song?
Can you feel it?
What song is this?
Can you feel the heat down in your soul? I feel the heat down.
You don't know about this?
Never heard the song.
Ryan. Oh man, my God, bro.
I feel the heat there in control. Can you feel
Oh, nice.
it? Can you see it?
I see it. It's Miami.
We can be.
Damn, there's some throwback shit.
I remember the video. I didn't mean to see it.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Ryan was like,
Honestly,
Ryan had the long hair and
I wasn't fucking with sports like that back in the day.
that's Malik's. No, that was Gary Grant. Wow. Oh
Classic,
man,
bro.
that is so
Nice.
awesome.
Timmy.
Yeah, that's tight.
Tim
Can you
Hardin.
feel the
The
heat?
good old days.
Yes.
I think that was a 62, 63 win season that we had. I think
Was that 90?
the year the Bulls won 72.
Yeah.
It was the same year we won 63.
Eastern Conference Finals. So up next for the Heat at Toronto on Tuesday night, at Boston on Wednesday, versus Washington on Friday, and versus Chicago on Sunday. Predictions.
What is your predictions, guys?
2-2.
I mean,
No.
I think I like 3-1. I think the Washington and Chicago games are gimmies. Those are home games too, so you can protect home court against some shitty teams. But
I'm writing these down, bro.
Yeah, write them down.
I say 2-2.
I like the Toronto game for a win, and then I think we take the L in Boston, but then we clean house with Washington and Chicago. So I'm going 3-1 with the L in Boston.
I'm gonna say 4-0.
4-0. Oh my gosh, dude.
Shaw with the hot take.
Hot take. Everybody that's listening to this right now, hold Shaw accountable. 4-0. I like it though.
No, I think we'll lose to Philly. Who are we playing? Philly, Boston, Toronto, and we'll beat Washington, Chicago.
I've looked at Boston up and down, and I've been paying a little bit of attention to Toronto.
Yeah, I'm not.
They're
I'm not
two
buying
teams.
Toronto.
I don't buy it. I haven't bought Toronto since Kawhi left. So
Yeah.
first of all, let me make that clear.
Siakam, bro?
I mean, they got to give somebody the hype. Okay, he's a good player,
He's good.
but let's just
Kyle
keep it at that.
Lowry, bro?
Kyle Lowry is
Valanciunas?
Mike Lowry.
Mike Valanciunas
he's
is
gone,
on
right?
Memphis. He's on Memphis. Cut it out.
else?
He's
Do you ever think about Bad
who's
Boys whenever you hear
Van
Kyle Lowry's
Fleet?
name?
Yo, I like Van
Always.
Fleet. I
Mike
like Van
Lowry.
Fleet. though.
always.
Mike Lowry.
It's like always the first. I think of Martin Lawrence's face every time I think of Kyle
Mike
Lowry.
Lowry.
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry.
I mean, Mike Lowry.
Bro, Van Fleet, dude?
Boston.
Fred VanVleet, come on.
Boston also.
I'll take any of those players on the
These
Heat,
two
bro.
teams we can compete with. I'll tell you why. We're better defensively. Yeah, we're better defensively, and they don't have size. They don't have size. They're not going to beat us with size.
You're right, but Boston, Jason Tatum, bro.
But okay. Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, bro. You put Jimmy Butler on Jason
Yeah,
Tatum,
you're
you
right.
tell me he's going to score? Like he does?
I don't know about
I
that.
don't know, probably not.
I don't think so.
I think that's a tough matchup for Jimmy.
I think that's
Jimmy?
a tough matchup for both of them.
Yeah, for sure. No,
I
for
mean,
sure.
but Jimmy could do it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't think he's going to stop him completely, but he's going to stop him a lot.
Right. Tatum's
Jimmy's
taller.
leading the league in steals, bro.
Jimmy's a baller.
He was. He's taller up that way. An inch
I think
taller. He's
Tatum-
an inch taller. He's like 6'9", and Jimmy's 6'8" or 6'7".
But
2
he
inches.
has problems with taller perimeter players.
Honestly, don't think Jason Taylor's taller than him.
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum's taller than
Let's
him.
see. How tall is Jason Tatum?
Okay,
Okay,
they're
Google.
the same height.
How tall is Jason Tatum?
Jimmy's 6'8",
How tall do you think he is?
6'7".
He's 6'8".
Okay, so Jimmy's about 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
And he's a much
He
better
looks
defender.
taller for some reason.
Yeah, no, he's not. And
They're both the same height.
and Jimmy's a much better defender.
Maybe it's the wingspan.
Maybe, but I think Jimmy could put a stop to him.
For some reason, I thought Tatum was like just a bigger dude.
And I mean, all right, Kemba's balling, but I mean, if we could figure out a way to kind of stifle Kemba a little bit and have Jimmy on Tatum, that's a win right there.
Yeah.
NFL Rewind.
Huh? How you like that?
Man, professional AF, bro.
That's fire.
Quality. That was me, by the way. You like my little voice?
Solid voice over, dude.
NFL Rewind.
Nice, dude.
Yep. We don't have any budget here,
You
so
have
we got
such
to
a
do
nice,
this ourselves.
low, soothing voice. You should do some ASMR, dude.
That's right. I could do the I could do the sports
Yeah.
segment.
Yeah, ASMR
That's
sports
right.
segment. Let's go.
Week 13 NFL recap. The Bears beat the Lions 14-7. Oh yeah. Nah. All right, so let's talk first of the let's talk about the turkey games first, right? Shaw's asleep. So I'm effective. I'm effective ASM artist.
There you go.
You know that's what they call him.
ASM artist.
That's what they
Oh my god.
That's what they call him. They call him ASM artists.
Nice.
All right, turkey games first. We'll start with the Bears at the Lions. Bears take care of business, beating the Lions 24-20. I can't even pronounce the quarterback of the Lions with this blah.
Blah.
What's this guy's name?
How do you spell it, dude?
Bloughh.
Blah.
Blow. He blows, dude.
Blah. That's what it sounds like. Blah.
Sounds French.
D-blah.
D blah.
All right. Anyways,
You got 21 fantasy points,
not
bro.
bad. Not bad for blah.
That's my bro, blah.
Trubisky's getting things back on track.
Chief
huh?
Keef shit.
He's having a few decent games, right? Together.
I mean, they're running the ball a little bit more effectively, and
Yeah,
they needed
Montgomery.
that to open up the passing lanes because, I mean, they have solid receivers in Miller and Robinson, and I don't think Tyler Gabriel's playing right now, but, I mean, when he is playing, they got a really solid trio of receivers there.
Yep. Let's talk about the Bills and the Cowboys, the second game on Thanksgiving Day. Bills beat the Cowboys in Dallas 26-15. I want to talk about Josh Allen because this dude looks like the truth. Now, I was watching the game with my dad, who's a Bills fan. You know, he lives in upstate New York.
Yeah, he said they were going to win. Did they win?
Yeah, he did. And they won. Yeah. He said they were going to shut them out, which I'm like, Dad, nah, chill. But 26-15 in Dallas, that's pretty damn respectable. And Josh Allen, is it the fact that he just has a million years to throw and to make his reads because the offensive line is protecting him? Or is this dude just legit? And he's going to be ranked as maybe the best quarterback in that draft. I like what I see out of this kid. He's got poise. He's got swagger. Clearly the team likes him. You know, he rallies the troops. He led them on some impressive drives. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. What's not to like?
He's not really that good of a thrower. His passing
Right.
average is passing
That's
yards
the
per
right-
thrower, like no longer
Correct.
than 7
He's,
yards.
he's not a deep ball guy,
He
right?
needs to work on that. At least like his game is very similar to Cam Newton's, but Cam could bomb it. Cam is a little inaccurate with his passing, but he could bomb it. Josh Allen needs to they said he has the cannon. He needs to prove it on the field because he opts for the run a little bit too much. And as he gets older, he's not gonna be able to have that. So he needs to establish this now so he can have this in his repertoire and continue to always, go back to either one. Like, look at Lamar. Look at what Lamar Jackson's doing right now. He can go to both. Josh Allen, in my opinion, favors the little dump-off passes as opposed to really throwing long passes. I mean, he does have good possession receivers in John Brown and Cole Beasley. But, it is what it is. I'm not going to anoint him anything yet, but I will say next year he's going to be a highly sought-for quarterback, especially in fantasy leagues. And the Bills stay with this way, with this way of handling their team right now. As long as they just spend money the right way, I mean, and keep giving him a proper offensive line, because that's what a guy like a quarterback like him needs. You know, if they continue to keep the pieces around him solid, he's going to keep playing this way. This is just, he's a product of his environment right now. You know, you put him on the Jets, he's not going to do shit.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, you put Sam Darnold on the Bills right now, Sam Darnold's going to look like a G.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I just don't know. I like the fact he's a dual threat quarterback.
I agree with that aspect.
And he seems to have that swagger that Sam Darnold doesn't have.
Yeah.
What about my guy Whack Prescott, bro? What happened to him?
Yeah, he was Whack Prescott.
Yeah, he did all right. 32 for, not really. I mean, he did all right. 32 for 49. I mean,
I don't know. He had a decent game. I think in general that offense, you know, they couldn't get it done in the right moments, and they sputtered. You know, they had that failed drive, and they should have kicked a field goal to cut it down, and they decided to go for it on 4th and whatever, and you know, the game was lost from there.
Yeah, Amari and Zeke, they both have been underperforming.
You look at the statistics on the Dallas side, and it doesn't look all that bad, but they just, you know, as a whole, couldn't get it going.
And their defense was shaky.
Right.
Look at what they allowed. Singletary, you know, 38 receiving yards, 63 rushing yards. He killed it. You know, so that's it is what it is. We'll see what happens. But Dallas is definitely trending down, in my opinion, right now.
That whole division sucks. The NFC East.
Yeah, they're like historically one of the worst divisions in NFL history right now.
Yep. I think I was just listening on ESPN. We were listening together. The Washington Redskins they're not mathematically eliminated from making the playoffs because they're so bad.
That's crazy.
Crazy, right?
Why can't we be in that fucking division,
dude? That would be nice.
Put the Dolphins in there.
Tom Brady.
Right.
That's why we're in the division.
That's why we're never going to win until that guy's out of here.
Yep.
Probably.
Well, also, you know, he's not playing great at this point.
Oh, no.
Their
The Patriots.
Listen, don't you ever disrespect the God.
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
He doesn't have pieces, man. He doesn't have those solid veteran receivers besides Edelman. He needs an Antonio Brown. He needs Rob Gronkowski. He needs Josh Gordon. I don't know what the hell happened to the Patriots this year. They had all the pieces and then some.
You can only win 6 Super Bowls. You know what I mean? It's like, how many more Super Bowls can you win? You know what I mean?
But, I mean, it shows that they had an easy...
And they're still playing pretty well, too. They're still 10-2.
Yeah, but they got embarrassed yesterday.
Let's hold off on the Pats for a second. Let's talk about the Saints and Falcons, the cap off Thanksgiving Day. Saints win 26-18. Drew Brees, took a back seat this game. You know, the coaching staff, much to the dismay of many Drew Brees fantasy owners, they let, Taysom Hill, he got the, a lot of the points. He had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. So they had some trickery going on there. But anyways, they take care of business against a division rival, beat the Falcons 26-18. Falcons competing with the Dolphins for, a top 5 pick there. They're same record as Dolphins now at 3-9. I think we're winning just by a tiebreaker. But again, they could jump us at any which point. And then you have to ask, do the Falcons start looking at their next quarterback? Because Matt Ryan,
I wouldn't.
How much longer does Matt Ryan have?
He's not the problem.
His career.
I don't think he's the problem.
Yeah, their defense is horrid.
Yeah, he's definitely not the problem.
All right.
And their offensive line is shit too.
Moving forward, now we can talk about the Patriots. They lose to the Texans 22-28 on Sunday Night Football. Deshaun Watson, 18-25, 234 yards. 3 touchdowns, one of which was a passing touchdown received from Hopkins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And overall, the Texans look like they know how to handle the Patriots, and I think everybody's starting to realize how the Patriots can be beat. They're starting to figure out. They're looking at what the Ravens did to them, and now what the Texans did to them, and I think they're coming up with a blueprint. I agree. This does not look like a Super Bowl team. The defense is going to wear down eventually. You're already seeing signs of it off that historic pace that they set earlier in the season. So, right now my pick out of the AFC is definitely the Ravens.
They're rushing. Yeah, the Patriots' rushing attack is just a joke right now. They're rushing. They need their rushing to open up their whole offense. And
right.
Is it the running backs? Is it their scheme? I don't know what it is, man. But I don't think it's lack of skill or anything because James White's there, Burkhead's there, Michelle's there. I mean, makes no sense for them to be this bad in the rushing aspect of their offense.
Yeah, and surprisingly, James White led them in carries with 14 attempts for 79 yards. Sonny Michel, 10 attempts, 45 yards. So you could see they're trying to figure it out. They're even switching of who their lead ball carrier is. All right, moving on. Chargers and Broncos. Broncos win 23-20 in Drew Lock's career debut. Didn't have an amazing game, but, first game, 18-28, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Good enough to get the win, though. Just overall, not really any statistics jumping out at you this game. Just kind of, even on the Chargers side, they spread the ball around. Lead receiver was Mike Williams for 5 receptions, 117 yards. Any thoughts about Chargers and Broncos?
Phillip Rivers, man, sad to say, but his time is pretty much run out. I don't see him starting for this team next year.
You don't? Not next year, huh?
No, man. I see them going and taking a different route, whether it be through free agency or something. But if they can't get another answer, they'll keep him around and stuff. But I don't see him.
You definitely do have to look at a successor at this point.
Yeah,
Phillip Rivers came in the same draft as Eli Manning. You remember they were traded for each other on draft night. Mm-hmm. So
you gotta. Tyrod Taylor's there.
He's been there for a while.
I heard there. Yeah, I think it's
Phillip Rivers.
Tyrod Taylor is there now. As his backup. I heard they were gonna possibly play him this past game if Phillip Rivers was gonna start playing bad, but that didn't happen. But it's just he's been there his whole career. I hope he goes out the right way. Or they keep him around. And he's okay with like a backup role for a little while, but he doesn't seem like that type of guy. He seems like that guy that's gonna try to find a starting role, and just keep fighting for one. But we'll see. It'll be sad to cross this bridge because he's been one of those long tenured players on the same team since he was a rookie. So
Raiders at the Chiefs. Chiefs pound the Raiders 40-9. Patrick Mahomes 15-29, 175 yards and a touchdown, but most of the damage was done on the ground for the Chiefs. Spread it around quite a bit. Thompson with 11 attempts for 44 yards and a touchdown. Then you had Patrick Mahomes also score a rushing touchdown, and LaShawn McCoy score a rushing touchdown.
Darrell Williams too.
They had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. They had 8 people rush the ball. 8 different players rush the ball, so they definitely spread it around. They're trying to figure it out, just like the Dolphins are, I guess, with their rushing attack. But the difference was
had a lot of injuries.
They were successful while the Dolphins were not.
Yeah.
They put it to him. Darren Waller on the Oakland side of things, 7 receptions for 100 yards, so that was nice to see. And also Josh Jacobs, 17 attempts for 104 yards. Rams pound the Cardinals. Nice to see Jared Goff finally wake up, from his slumber and actually get, the passing game going again. Just the whole Rams offense in general.
Todd Gurley looked really good too.
Yeah, Todd Gurley looked good. And then Robert Woods, 19 targets for 13 receptions, 172 yards. So, again, nice to see them get back on track. Maybe they wake things up a little bit and they're still in the playoff hunt. Mm-hmm. See what happens with the Rams moving forward. Ravens beat the 49ers 20-17. Lamar Jackson, I think we're just coming to expect so many amazing things from Lamar Jackson that a game like this looks almost pedestrian, where he runs for 101 yards, scores a touchdown, but on the passing side of things, just 105 yards, 1 touchdown. This is an amazing game all around from a quarterback, again, like we've never seen before. But again, he's been putting, just astronomical numbers all season long, that when you see statistics like this, you're kind of like, oh, it's kind of a down game for Lamar Jackson. And
the really good thing about this game is that they beat the Niners.
They beat the Niners, and I think you're even more impressed by the Niners defense, the fact that they were able to keep the Ravens at bay to 20 points.
Lamar Jackson by 3 points.
Yeah, man. So Niners are legit, even in the loss, they're proving it. The Titans at the Colts. Titans win 31-17. Again,
the beginning of this game, Ryan Tannehill looked like the Ryan Tannehill for the Miami Dolphins on a bad day.
Yeah.
And he ended this game looking like the Ryan Tannehill that's been playing the last 5 games. I don't know what happened to this guy.
They're only making him pass 20 times a game, and they have a guy like Derrick Henry that can run 26 attempts for 149 yards and a touchdown. That you have balance and an offensive line, and you can have a guy like Ryan Tannehill play mistake-free football.
It is impressive.
He just has to throw intermediate routes and lean on the running game, and that's the recipe for success.
Absolutely.
And good for him. He found a team that can actually play to his strengths.
You think he's going to be their starting quarterback next year?
I do.
You think he's the future of that team?
I think. They're winning with him. So let's see what they do in the playoffs. Right now they're trending in the right direction. They can make the playoffs, and I guess the clutch performances will decide.
They're saying he's a free agent next year, and he's gonna go out and test the market.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I would too.
He's coming back to Miami, baby.
Definitely not.
They could have kept him. In
Dolphins related news, the Bengals beat the Jets 22-6. the Jets, take another L, inch closer to Miami's draft spot. Also, the Bengals, still the number 1 pick in the draft, but also nice to see them get a win, so just in case they could slide down a little bit more. Again, the Dolphins do play the Bengals coming up, so you have that game that will definitely determine a lot in the draft order. Not much to say about from a statistics perspective here. Ryan Anderson, 10 targets, 7 receptions for 101 yards. Was it? Robbie Anderson. Thank you, stand corrected. Tyler Boyd on the Cincinnati side, 10 targets for 5 receptions, 59 yards and a touchdown. I guess that's notable because he was demanding the ball, all of last week, and, they made sure to feed him this game. This was also Andy Dalton played this game?
Yes, he did. He started the game for them.
Right, so Andy Dalton back in the starting lineup for Cincinnati after they tried was it?
I don't think he's the reason they're so bad. I hope they.
No, they have the worst offensive line in football.
I think they really. They're talking about getting a new quarterback and this and this and that. I think they have a good one there. They just need to build around him again, get a good offensive line and stuff there again. When he had a good team around him, he was a playoff caliber quarterback.
Yep.
Every year.
Moving on to the Packers at the Giants. Packers win 31-13. Aaron Rodgers comes alive. 21 of 33 attempts, 243 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Happy birthday, Aaron Rodgers.
Is it his birthday?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think I saw it on NFL Instagram today. They said happy birthday.
All right, good way to celebrate your birthday with a performance
big Aaron
like that.
Rodgers.
Thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, Shaw?
When you got to play these teams that you have to beat and play well against, you have to come in and do it. And dominated this game. He definitely helped me out this weekend in my fantasy league in one of them.
He doesn't care.
I appreciate him for that very much.
He definitely went out there and played for you, bro.
He did, man, and I appreciate him.
This one's for Shaw.
I appreciate him for that.
That's why they call him Caring Rodgers.
When Devontae Adams, I'm impressed with his play as well. 18. We had 2 touchdowns, 6 of 65. It's pretty solid. Yeah. I have him as well, and with Rodgers in that league. So I'm very pleased with it, and I hope that when the playoffs start for the Packers, their defense really starts to decipher who they want to play and what type of defense they want to be identified as, because they started this season well. They've been playing very, very mediocre defense, and I don't know. We'll see, but I'm just not fully sold on their defense. I could see the Packers losing in the first round.
Yeah, I can see that. See that. Moving on to the Buccaneers at the Jaguars. Buccaneers win 28-11. Not a very routine game for the Buccaneers because usually they just do most of their damage via the air with Jameis Winston and those receivers, Godwin and Mike Evans. But in this particular game, they leaned on the run game. Peyton Barber, 17 attempts with 2 touchdowns for 44 yards. There's, again, nothing jumps at you statistically. They spread it around, but they were able to put it to the Jaguars, and nothing going really much for the Jaguars. They started the game with Nick Foles, very ineffective, brought in Gardner Minshew again. That's going to be a situation that they're going to have to figure out moving forward.
Yeah, trade Nick Foles and get some capital for him.
Yeah, probably.
I would.
The Steelers beat the Browns 20-13. Baker Mayfield 18-32, 196 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And also Jarvis Landry leading the team in targets again for 6 receptions for 76 yards.
Kareem Hunt, man.
Odell Beckham with another quiet game, 3 receptions for 29 yards. Kareem Hunt. Yep. You want to talk about Kareem?
There was a couple little receiving plays there that I was really impressed with him. I don't know if one of them got called back, but he caught the ball. He looked like a receiver. Got the ball, busted some moves, did a spin move. I think he almost ran it all the way to the end zone, but he got stopped. But a very, very good addition to this team at a point in time of the season where they really needed some.
Yeah, they're going to integrate him more and more.
Yeah, and Nick Chubb, he did okay, but the better player is Kareem Hunt, and I think they need to utilize that going forward because he's all around the better player. He's a better receiver and everything. So I would definitely. If not, I don't think you could keep both those guys on this team. You're gonna have to eventually get rid of one of them and get some capital.
Yep.
I would definitely consider that.
Yep.
Because they're gonna get in each other's way.
Trade one to the Dolphins.
I would take Kareem Hunt. I'm not the biggest Nick Chubb fan, but I would take him too.
Yeah.
I think they have a really good offensive system there in place for him to succeed. And their offensive line is usually pretty solid. He's a really good player. He definitely surprised me. I thought Michelle was going to be the better player out of Georgia than Nick Chubb, and I was definitely wrong about that.
All right, moving on. Redskins at the Panthers. Redskins surprisingly take the victory 29-21. Dwayne Haskins 13-25, 147 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Darius Geis, 10 attempts, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, came out of nowhere with that one. Then also 13 attempts for Adrian Peterson for 99 yards and 1 touchdown. They basically carried the Washington Redskins to a victory with that rushing game. On the Carolina side of things, really not much going for Christian McCaffrey. First game, I feel, of the season, where he had a down game. Mm-hmm. So a surprising win for the Redskins, good for the Dolphins. So we're happy to see that. Tonight, to wrap up the week, we have the Vikings at the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. Shaw, what's your prediction? Vikings 8-3 coming into this game. Seahawks 9-2. Seahawks a 2.5-point favorite. The over/under of this game is 49.5 points. What's your prediction for tonight?
I'm going to take the Seahawks simply based on, is it away?
It's in Seattle.
In Seattle? Yeah, I take Seattle because the Vikings secondary, though they have a lot of big names and stuff like that, they're just not producing. And they've actually, this year, numbers-wise, they're one of the 3 or 4 worst passing defenses in the league. Mm-hmm. And it's very surprising because they've invested a lot into that position. And I just don't see them being able to stop Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I think Chris Carson's gonna have a good little bounce back game this game. He's got some critics to shut up, and that's just I would take the Seahawks, and I'm a very big Dalvin Cook fan as well, but there's something about this Seahawks defense, man. I'm really impressed with that defensive line they have over there that they put together this year.
Whenever it's prime time and the lights are on, I cannot bet against Russell Wilson because every time
in Seattle,
every time this dude plays a night game that's a nationally televised game, I just feel like he lights it up, every single time. So I'm going to take the Seahawks as well. All right, well, that wraps up our show for this week. Thank you all for joining us. Much, much appreciated. Any last words, gentlemen, on this episode?
Sorry, guys. I was
Brian was taking a selfie as we were wrapping
selfies. Up. This has a nice filter on it. All right. No, some notes. Nobody sent us any tickets to the Dolphins-Eagles game last week, so thank you for that. If you want to send us any other stuff, any presents, any suggestions, anything, just hit us up on the DMs at the Sideline Sesh Instagram.
Any presents?
Yes, send us some presents.
Nobody's sending us presents.
I need stuff to put on my table here, guys. I need some little knickknacks, Send me a Polaroid of you and your family at Thanksgiving. Give me something, bro.
If anybody has any random Miami or sports memorabilia for Brian's desk.
Yeah, that's what I need. Hit me up. Brian's desk needs, it's looking boring here. All I got is Dion the Dummy Bear, and I need more.
We'll give you a shout out on the show for any donations. All right, Shah, sign us out.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Keep tuning in. Give us some follows, listens, likes. Give us some feedback. We need it.
Tell your friends about us.
Tell your friends about us. We're growing. We'd like for y'all to grow with us. And hopefully this could turn into something very, very beneficial for all of us. Thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate all of y'all. Happy holidays. Peace.
Peace. See ya.
Where's my music?
Hey, you try to get over, you're gonna go under.
Nice.
What that fool say? I said you try to get over, you gonna go under. Literally. It's 30-30, man. I ain't got time to be wasting time on slow posts. I want y'all to get open like the ocean.